So a lot of flurry happening in Davos, the Swiss resort, ahead of the World Economic Forum that kicks off tomorrow. And let's take you there now live to my colleague Nompumelelo Siziba, who's in Switzerland. Good afternoon to you. Nompu, just run us through what the security situation is, I guess, and what's the weather like ahead of tomorrow?
My stuff. The quality, I'm certain of.
It's freezing here. Before we left Johannesburg, I think we were enjoying temperatures of plus 26, 27 degrees. We're now having to endure minus 21 degrees right now. But we're dressed accordingly and we're trying to acclimatize to the weather. So it's very cold, but you know that when you come to Switzerland and people seem to be dressed accordingly. As for security, well, you know, it is very, very tight. It's very difficult to get in here without accreditation. If you don't have accreditation, you don't have any joy whatsoever. And obviously that's because of the kind of caliber of people that are here at this meeting. You've got heads of state, you've got your top CEOs. We also have labour movements as well as civil society attending this gathering. The World Economic Forum says there are about 2,700 people who are booked and paid up to come here. I don't know if they've all arrived just yet. We've got word that Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa arrived this morning, and we hope to be speaking to him a little bit later about what he's going to be saying here at the World Economic Forum. He's leading a delegation, Team SA. There are a number of CEOs from South Africa's companies from various sectors, finance, mining, and so on. And so we'll be speaking to him, and we're obviously going to be looking to speak to our main economic guys, those being the Reserve Bank Governor and the Minister of Finance, Pravin Gordhan. Pardon the truck. So we have a lot of people that we're going to be speaking to locally.
Nompu, sorry to cut in. What reasons did government give for President Jacob Zuma not leading the delegation this year?
Well, yes, interesting questions. I'm afraid I don't have the answers there too, because all along we expected the president to be going along, and then at the 11th hour we got word that indeed he wouldn't be, and the deputy president would be leading Team SA. So yeah, we're not quite sure as to the reasons for that, but hopefully we'll get some answers from the DP as to what the message of South Africa will be to the various delegations here.
What's likely to be on South Africa's agenda, do you think?
Well, what's likely to be on South Africa's agenda is a continuation of the communication that's been going on in earnest in the past 12 months or so. You'll remember after Nenegate, when the finance minister then had to leave office and was replaced a couple of times, there was a lot of adverse reaction in terms of the rand and so on, and the Minister of Finance, Pravin Gordhan, then got an ensemble of people from Labour, business and government to really spearhead talking to the outside world about South Africa still being a place that's worth investing in. We do rely on foreign direct investment and investment from outside in order to help grow the economy, which of course we know has been suffering and continues to suffer. So the communication will be what efforts government's actually making to ensure that we're on the right track for growth, therefore inspiring foreign investors to invest, and obviously looking at partnerships that can be forged in order to ensure that South Africa can move forward. Of course, that's every country's aim at these kinds of meetings, to say, look, let's talk together, let's see what we can achieve. Of course, there's a danger. People do label these kinds of forums as talk shops, but people we've spoken to here justify it and say, without networking, you can't get the end results of investment and ultimately economic growth. Francis.
Nompu, finally, a comment on what sort of discussions will top the overall agenda that you're talking about now. OXFAM putting inequality on the table, but it's always there, and China may liven things up, won't they?
Well, yes. Well, China is actually going to be opening the forum with an address. The President Xi Jinping, he's the one who will be opening the forum, which is highly unprecedented. He's the first Chinese head of state to actually come to the forum, to Davos, and address the meeting. So it's quite significant. You'll know that it's significant also given the geopolitical backdrop that we're faced with. Come Friday, we have Donald Trump taking the hot seat and assuming the role of President of the United States. We know that he's been making rumbles in terms of relations with China. People are concerned that we may see trade wars, the beginning of trade wars. China has been
All right, unfortunately, we lost the link there, but a nice outline of what to expect from the World Economic Forum from Nompumelelo Siziba live at Davos.